Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today let's go over the market. Let's talk about what happened with Tesla, what, overall just went down, what we can expect for the remainder of the week. And just in general, how everything looks right now, and if we're still looking good or it's time to start freaking out, right? So all that being said and done, as usual, if you guys enjoyed this video, then please do not forget to hit that like button as per usual. So, that would help a lot. And of course, as per usual, this video is not financial advice. Make your own decisions. Do your own research, blah, 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 blue, blee, blah. So all that being said and done, let's take a look at it. So Tesla ending the day actually down once again, 1.45%, ending the day just shy of $180. However, on the bright side, compared to the market, Tesla with a pretty nice outperformance, right? The QQQ down just over 2%. Even the SPY was down pretty much the exact same that Tesla was down. But of course, with Tesla's beta, that is an overall W, right? Because with the QQQ down 2%, Tesla should be down probably at least around 3.5%, let's say roughly, right? So overall, definitely a nice little bit of a outperformance on Tesla, and one where it mattered. You know what I mean? Like, this is where it really mattered to truly like outperform the way it did today. Because if it was down the normal amount, it would pretty much be down at the lows of the day. Actually, is where Tesla would be down, but Tesla did recover while the market kind of didn't. So yeah, all that being said and done, let's talk about it. So essentially today happened pretty much exactly what I was talking about, I think yesterday and the day before. I think that was Friday, right? So overall, we are getting that, red start to the week, which, like I said on Friday, I expected, which, we are getting. And yesterday, I did talk about how, I wouldn't be surprised if Tesla, comes down to potentially all the way down around that 177-ish area, which is exactly where we went to. We actually went a little bit lower, 175. But like I said, if we go lower, I want to get it recouped about as fast as possible. And you can see, we did come down to this level, but we got, recouped up, decently fast. It took a little bit longer, but, nonetheless, we got back up at a decent speed, right? So we didn't even close a single 1 hour candle below this kind of major level, right? We were pretty much right at it the whole time, which is not too shabby. So all in all, some pretty decent stuff so far right now. As it stands right this very moment, ladies and gentlemen, it does not look bad. It does not look bad. In fact, I would argue it actually looks quite good, at least for now, right? Obviously, things can change. All it takes in this market is just one day to completely mess that up and just look completely bearish. That is extremely possible. However, as it is right now and as it stands right now, it's really not looking that bad, guys, right? Again, like I said, the main thing I'm personally looking at right now and kind of, looking forward towards, I guess, playing out is overall just this kind of inverted head and shoulders, right? That we are essentially setting up. And like I said, as long as this level right here that we pretty much went to today doesn't go too far into the head, and if it does, like I always say also, right, if it does get into those levels, it's not about necessarily getting into the level, it's more about whether or not it stays in the level. That's the most important part. And we did get into there, but we got bought back up fast enough, and it did make a nice little rally, and we did bounce off of this area, which was very, very important, by the way. Very, very key, and the fact that we did that is great. Now what that means is essentially that we are so far actually holding up this inverted head and shoulders pattern so far, because we did not close anything really too far lower than this shoulder, or in other words, entering the territory of the head, right? We did not close candles there, nothing important at least in that area, and we did bounce where it matters. So far so good. You can even make the argument, go to remove this. You can even make the argument on the daily that we did essentially retest this overall breakout finally, right? Because we didn't technically actually do that. We did break out of this overall trend line, right? This kind of greenish one, right? Over here. So we broke out of this blue one, retested it. Came up to the green one, rejected twice. Came down, ran up, this massive candle, breached right through it, right? Went up pretty high actually, pretty much up to 200, got rejected, and now you can make the argument that we came back down and pretty much retested more or less this breakout while also maintaining the inverted head and shoulders pattern. So guys, I have to say, all in all, as it stands right this very moment, it is not looking too shabby. You can also make the argument the fact that Tesla technically closed lower, not technically, it actually quite literally closed lower today than it did on this red candle right here, which was the candle that set the RSI low over here, right? So you can see the RSI low here was around 38.55. Today's close, even though the candle on the chart, like the actual stock price itself and the candle itself it did close at a lower level than this, the RSI is actually closing at a higher level. So just, small things like that aren't too shabby whatsoever, though I would personally consider this as not really like a bottom area. This to me is a bottom, this to me is a potential bottom, not so much this. However, as long as we don't pretty much go lower than this bottom here is the main thing I would be concerned about. I still think that we're setting up an overall lower bottom or a higher low, right? On top of that, we're also bouncing off the median line somewhat at the very moment, which again also seems promising. So there's a lot of things that are looking pretty good, and the setup is looking, honestly, quite phenomenal and quite valid, let's just say, right? But again, I want to make it very clear, especially in a market like this, things can change extremely quickly. So just keep that in mind, guys, but again, this is just strictly as it stands right this very moment. No one knows for sure what's going to happen. And if anyone does, well, they're just full of shit, right? No one knows for sure. Nothing is guaranteed in the market. So make sure you truly understand that it's all about probability. And to me right now, the probability is quite severely in the bulls' favor. Again, as long as this 177-ish level overall maintains its hold, right? It doesn't fall below. And again, if it does, that's fine, right? You can also make the argument the fact that, now the RSI is looking a little bit weak, right? But in fact, it's really just not that bad, right? Mainly because it's just essentially following the stock, right? It's not really setting up any divergences that are concerning, I would say, right? So all in all, that looks perfectly fine. And on the daily, we're still overall looking quite bullish. We're still setting up beautiful overall bullish divergence. Nothing's really changed with that as of right now, at least, right? So all in all, in my opinion, guys, Tesla is still looking quite phenomenal. The EMA 21 is still, of course, well above us. The Bollinger Band, we're pretty much going slowly back up to the white line, and the 5 and the 10 moving average, we are still unfortunately below. So I guess those are the small bearish aspects of that Tesla might still be somewhat not super bullish just yet, and there's still some bearish elements, absolutely. However, in my opinion, I do think there's more bullish than bearish things happening right now, and the setup overall looks quite phenomenal. But again, they can change in one day sometimes with this market specifically. Now, the one thing that has me a little bit concerned, however, is the fact that, number one, the SPY did finally break out of its channel. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if the SPY does overall end up making a little bit of a rally, simply just to retest. So maybe like up here somewhere, which will pretty much take us back to about 400 on the SPY, give or take, right? That wouldn't surprise me. But you can see Tesla is starting to outperform when it matters, even though the market is not really performing very well right here, right now, like today, for instance, right? So Tesla is doing its kind of separate thing when it matters, and that's not uncommon as well, right? Where the market completely rallied, Tesla completely crashed, and when Tesla was rallying here, I think that was when the market was crashing here or something like that. I remember it was something along the lines of that, or it might have been right here where the market was kind of crashing while Tesla was not really doing anything, or it barely crashed, right? So it's not uncommon for Tesla to do its own thing, and I think this is an instance where that definitely might be the case once again moving forward. But of course, we will see. But all in all, again, the only thing that has me concerned is, of course, this market, right? This is just a little bit concerning with the way it looks. Now, you can also make the argument the fact that we are potentially setting up. Let me make a trend line here. Right, you can also make the argument the fact that we might be doing something like this right now, right? So maybe the market will come up to retest this level once again, which again will pretty much bring us up to the retest of this red line that we just broke under. And of course, also it will bring us up to around the 400 level, which is essentially it's forming now a new downward channel, right? This right here can be potentially the new downward channel. So just something else to consider as well. And we'll see what that actually ends up forming. But the market overall, in my opinion, is not looking very, very convincing or like very, very bullish just yet, other than a potential few days of green, just simply retest this breakdown. Again, that could also be completely fake out, right? You never know. Like I said, I always have that 2 to 3 day rule. So, if the market somehow can rocket like tomorrow or the day after and just get right back into this channel and above 400 and hold and everything, then yeah, this was just a massive bear trap, right? It takes a few days to really get the concrete evidence that yeah, this is going to happen or whatever, right? But as it stands right now, the market itself looks a little bit bearish. Tesla looks pretty bullish, right? So take that as you will. Makes it a little bit conflicting, of course, but like I said before, Tesla tends to do its own thing, and it's not completely unheard of. Taking a final look at the VIX, you can see the VIX is overall bouncing from this level that we did talk about, a few days ago now. I think it was like maybe last Thursday or something. I can't remember exactly, or maybe Wednesday. And it is bouncing, right? And it is approaching resistance on the VIX. You can see right around this area, right? A lot of support and resistance here. These candles right here, for instance, these candles up here that got bounced off of, these candles that bounced downwards. So it is approaching resistance, which can potentially be the I guess excuse, if you will, that gives the VIX pretty much the momentum it needs to go ahead and gives the market the momentum it needs to go ahead and potentially go for that 400 retest on like the SPY, for instance, right? But overall, you can see the VIX is setting up a bullish divergence as well, similar to what Tesla was setting up and is currently in the process of potentially playing out. So that is something to consider as well. So the VIX wouldn't surprise me if it ultimately comes back up to around almost 25 at some point or another, maybe somewhat soon in the next maybe week or two. That definitely would not surprise me whatsoever, which would coincide with the market most likely also overall starting that trend downwards, right? So we'll see what happens with that, but that is kind of what I'm seeing in the very moment, guys. Overall, like I said, market looking pretty bearish at the very moment. Tesla looking like it's holding on to the bullish thesis as of right now, and it's looking quite good as long as, again, 177 holds. And to really confirm this to play out, I really want to see about 195 to 200 start to break and crack up, and we go above it, right? That's very important to me as well. But all in all, guys, that's it for the video. Let me know what you think down below. Thank you all so much for watching. See you for the next one. Peace.